Hey everyone, Dan Bauman here with the Designer Show and Chief Experts Academy. Welcome to our show today. We're having some technical issues with our guest, and John should be here any minute, so just bear with me as we get going there. But in the meantime, I'm just going to start talking about Matterport and a few other things, and I'll start taking some of your questions. So if Rich, for some reason, doesn't get logged in today, we'll have to have him back another time. He was going to demonstrate how the Matterport worked for us. And anyway, just hang in there. We'll get to it. But let me just cover a couple other things real quick here. For those of you that are in the Pro Academy, I just want to let you know that, let me bring up my screen here. You can log into your account and go ahead and register for the class. Now, if you're watching this on the streaming page on the website, you'll see, there's Richard, our guest today. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see about the template class. Next week, I'm starting a class on templates. It's a 4-part class, and we're going to really dive deep into how templates work in Chief Architect. And you're going to get my templates in Imperial and Metric, and I'm really looking forward to this class. Here's the syllabus of what we'll be covering. Of course, that'll change as it always does, but that's going to give you an idea of the different things that we'll be working on throughout these modules, these courses. It's going to be start on the 21st. It's going to be from 3 to 4:30 each time. So if you're a Pro Academy member, just click this text link right here, and that will take you into the page here where you can click this link and register for the live workshops. If you're seeing this afterwards, after the class is over, you'll go into the Pro Academy and just go to the templates area, and you'll find all the recordings for these classes. So plus you'll find the templates there as well. So it's, again, been working hard on these templates. It's been a labor of love for many years, and people that are using my templates really love them. So it's many steps above what Chief Architect gives you. Anyway, I just thought I would point that out. So if you're not a member, by all means, you just click here, and for $297 annually, you can get access to the Pro Academy, where we have a ton of information for you if you're a Chief Architect user, and I think you really enjoy that. So if, on this page here, it gives a good summary. There's a little video up here that talks about it, and then if you just scroll down the page, you will get a good summary of what the Pro Academy is about. The different things that we're going to be doing in the Pro Academy. Here's a list of the classes that are already there, the recordings that are in the Pro Academy. There's a bunch of stuff in there, man. It's really, I'm trying to keep it a really good value for you guys. So by all means, would love to have you in there, and would love any feedback from you guys. All right, so let's get started. Hey, I see we got Donna and Brian, and Brian is on here, and hey, Donna. And can you comment on LiDAR and its possibilities with the iPhone 12? Brian, you're going to have to tell me what LiDAR is. I'm not sure. I think I might know, but if you could clarify that a little bit, that'd be really helpful. Oh, John is here. Hey, John.
Hey.
You made it.
I did.
Yeah. It must be snowing too hard up there up north for you to...
Well, it did snow yesterday a little bit. The snow's gone now, but...
yeah. We actually had snow this morning here. Yeah. So came down for about 10, 15 minutes, and now it's pretty well all gone. So it was kind of cool. Yep. It's big fat flakes too. Almost like snowballs. All right. So unfortunately, Rich, I was working with him yesterday to test everything out, and everything worked perfect, of course, then. And he tried to log in this morning, and he's having trouble. So I told him to restart, just try to get it up and running again, and hopefully he'll be joining us here soon. But in the meantime, I want to run through a couple of things about Matterport again. I've learned a few new things since last week. We'll talk about that, and then we'll just get into Chief Architect Q&A. I mean, if you guys have questions on the call, by all means, we'll field those questions. If you have questions about anything else, we'll field those as best we can too. So let's talk a little bit about Matterport with Chief Architect. So Matterport, again, if we head over to the Matterport website, let me just bring something up here real quick. Where to go? Here it is. Matterport's I've been really digging into this thing, and I'm really excited about it. This is cool stuff that we're talking about here. The ability to create these as-built models of buildings and to use them in Chief Architect. Come on here, Dan, let me get to the right spot. So let me just run over to Rich's website because he's got some nice samples set up over there. With Matterport, you buy the hardware, and they have 4 different levels that you can use to scan a phone. They have a 3D handheld device. They have a 3D camera, and they have one more device that I haven't researched yet, so I'm not sure what that is. It seems like the best option for the Matterport, for the files that people are showing, that I'm seeing. If you go to matterport.com, again, I have no affiliation with Matterport whatsoever. I'm just learning about this as you are too. So they've got all these different things. But if we go right to the pricing page, there's their Matterport camera that most people are using. And that's the one that you would use with one of these 2 accounts, the $69 or $309 a month account. The starter one is probably where you'd use your phone or that handheld device, which is lists right there. And
You're not on your screen, Dan.
Oh, thanks, John. Okay, there it is. You should have said that sooner. Okay, so there's the camera that people are talking about. And again, Rich was going to get on and show us how it works. I was pretty excited about that. So we'll just, maybe he'll show up. So you've got these different plans. And if you're doing a lot of as-builts, I could see where the $69 a month plan would probably be good for a small business. A little bigger one where you're doing a ton of it and you've got to share a lot of files with a lot of people and you need different users, this might be your best option. So you do have to keep in mind that there are additional costs with each project that you're doing. In other words, if you want to get the complete, all the files that you can use to model this thing and measure. And again, I don't even know exactly how it all works. There's $49 per project here, $39 per project over here. If you want to get the schematic floor plans, which I want to show you again in just a second, you're going to pay $15 here and $13 there to get those DWG floor plans. So they don't, when you're done with your scan, I think some things have to happen and you don't get them instantly, I believe. I think it takes a little bit of time, but I don't know how much. So let's just talk about that a little bit and get into Chief. And let me show you what I discovered. Okay, well, here we go. Let's get back to the questions. So check it out on the Apple page. We'll measure a 3D space. I think it will put this tech out of business. I don't know. I'm looking at another program called Canvas that works well on the iPhone and the iPad. And so, Brian, I do know what you're talking about. I thought that's what it was, the LiDAR. And because Apple has this 3D space technology built into their system, I think some of the Androids are starting to add that too now, but I have no idea. Don't quote me on that. So,
and keep in mind that whatever tech you're using, you need to pay attention to what the accuracy of it's going to be.
Well, the accuracy as well as the items you're getting from it. So Brian, I appreciate that comment. Let's see what happens. Okay. If that's the one, I'm all for it. Again, what we're looking for is solutions that make as-built drawing much easier to do and faster to do. That's the real bottom line of what we're trying to figure out here. So that's why we're doing this. Aha.
I'm back.
Rich, you're there. Hi, Richard. You made it.
Hi. You can see it. Okay, good.
Yep.
Yeah,
You look great, my friend. All right.
Yeah.
So just hang in there, Richard. We're talking about a few other things, and we're going to get into your camera over there. Okay, that's right behind your back. And
I'm trying to get this ready operational, so when I'm ready, I'll have it going for you.
You got it. I'll turn your video off so you can do it without worrying about it. All right. Steve said the templates are updated from a few months ago. Yeah, I've done a bunch of updates on them. So we'll talk about those in the class. The templates, I'll have the templates loaded up on next Wednesday. So I'm still working on a few things. Doug's been playing with some examples, and 1 inch seems to be the resolution. Is that correct? Doug, not sure what you're meaning by that. And Doug, you have to use the high-end camera for the ability to take measurements. That's, I think, that's in the Matterport. I believe you're correct. You have to use this camera to measure your 3D models. Okay, and I'm anxious to try Canvas. They just sent me an iPad that I'm going to be taking and doing some dimensions on. So again, we're going to do a little comparison here between Matterport and Canvas, which is another program. All right, so let's get into Chief for a second here, and let me just talk a little bit about what I discovered, because I was showing you a bunch of things last week about how to bring these files into Chief Architect. So let me just get in here, and let me just start a new plan, and I'll bring in one of the DWG imports. So this is pretty cool because, again, not only will you have the 3D model that you can walk through and measure from, as you would, let's go to, let me go here and go here and go here. All right. So I can go into this 3D model and look at things and measure by clicking on the little ruler, and I can go like this. Now, would I want to do this to find out every dimension in my project? Well, no, not really, especially the floor plans. Floor plans, let's make that a little easier. So the way you're going to make the floor plans a lot easier is to get the DWG file that they sell for $13 or $15. So let's go into Chief and let's go drag that file into Chief. So again, I'm going to take the DWG. Let me open up a new plan. Okay, and we're going to grab this DWG and drag it onto the screen. And here's a real key that I discovered that'll help keep us so we don't have to resize the CAD file like I was talking about last week. I spent a bunch of time talking about how to rescale the CAD lines. I'm going to put everything on one layer. So when I get to this layer mapping, I'm going to go a single layer in Chief, because I really don't need to have all these separate layers for doors, walls, windows, all that stuff. So I'm going to go create a new layer, and I'll call it CAD, Matterport DWG. Okay. And I'm going to modify all layer sets because I want that DWG to be blue, of which it won't really turn blue anyway. And it's going to be turned on. So I'm going to turn it off on all layer sets except this one. Well, yeah, that one. Now I'm going to undo the modify all layer sets and turn it on here. Okay, you got to watch that modify all layer sets thing. Give me 1 second here. I need to do something. All right, come on, what's going on? Sorry, I had something running on a different computer. I got to stop. Got it. Okay, so we're going to put everything on one layer so we can turn that layer on and off. What you have to do is bring that thing in millimeters. And I forget who sent me that message that tried millimeters. That seems to be the right conversion factor. And he was right on. So we were trying feet and inches, and then we're converting it. Didn't work. Millimeters. Bring it in millimeters. And then it's going to be the right size. At least that's been what I've found so far. All right. Map it to the origin. Doesn't matter. And then hit finish. And here's your CAD file that you're going to get from Matterport. All right, so it's going to come in. It's all going to be on one layer called the CAD Matterport DWG layer. So when I click on something, all right, I'm not going to run through the whole process here again, but I'll show you a few steps that you need to get started. So it's in at the right size now. I didn't have to rescale this at all, which is really cool. You like that one, John?
I do.
Yes. Okay. And so next, I could go and measure things if I wanted to. So before I do that, though, I'm going to switch to the layer set in my template called the as-built measuring plan. This will switch it so that I'm measuring to the surface all the time. You'll see the DWG went away. So now I have to go turn that layer on in this view. So let's go find the CAD Matterport DWG and turn that on. And I could lock it in place if I wanted to. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff. I'm not going to explain this right now. But now I could start measuring this from the CAD lines that we've got imported into Chief Architect. So I could draw my dimensions in here and start attaching them to where I need them to be. and I could, again, verify my dimensions, make sure that everything is just right. Now, if the dimensions are off a little bit, you might need to scale it based on what we did last week.
Dan?
Okay. Yeah.
Why are you dimensioning it? Why don't you just start drawing over top of it?
I'm just showing that you could, John.
Oh, okay.
All right. So now I want to add walls to this. So, and there's, I believe me, I tried to use the CAD to walls function to make this work. It's not worth the hassle. Believe me, you really have to jump through a lot of hoops to get that function to work. It's much easier just to draw the walls manually. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go into your default settings. You're going to go to walls. You're going to go to general wall, and you're going to set this to inner surface. So when I click on a wall, I'm going to be dragging from the inner surface of the wall. So what that means is, as I add a wall here, so when I click on the wall icon and I draw a wall, see what happens when I click on the wall now? See the line that I'm using to drag the wall now is on the inside. So now I can just drag that line right over the wall, inside wall line, and that's where I'll be placing it. And I can snap it to that too. So this house was brick, so I would switch to the wall type for brick. And, you know, you could adjust it to be whatever you want it to be. And then you start drawing. And so because I've set that to the inner surface, now when I drag it on the wall here, see how it puts it right there? So I do my exterior walls, I'll do my interior walls. My interior walls may or may not line up just right. If they're wrong, I'll have, you know, I can drag it and snap it. Okay, but you see it's going to be off a little bit. So you're probably going to have to compensate and just kind of center it in that area. And again, this is where you're going to double check your dimensions when you go back out onto the site. Maybe you're out there and you noted that that was a 6-inch wall. So you're going to put a 6-inch wall there. So it just depends on how accurate you want to be. This is going to be pretty dang close. I think their Matterport touts a 1% accuracy rate, which is, that'd be acceptable with me. So I would just go ahead and complete adding the walls. And before you know it, you're going to have a 3D model that you can work with.
1% accuracy rate, Dan, means that in 100 inches, it's going to be off an inch.
I can live with that.
The whole room, it could be off 2 inches.
Yeah. I mean, I could live with that on all the rooms except kitchens and baths.
Right.
Okay. So if I'm going to go to if I'm working on a kitchen and bath, I am going to go verify those dimensions a lot. All right. So questions, let's see, what do we got going there so far? 1 inch seems to be the resolution, is that correct? Okay,
Yeah.
did that one.
What he meant by that.
I mean, we're measuring the model, adding a dimension results in the measurement to the nearest inch. Okay.
Is that what you were getting when you're pulling dimensions on the PWG?
It would be, yeah.
An inch, or is it doing it to fractions of an inch?
Oh, no, it's going to do fractions of an inch. You would have to go in and set the, you'd have to go into your dimension layer and you would have to set the.
I think what he was getting at is when you're pulling dimensions off of the pictures, it's not giving you fractions of an inch. It's just giving you a rounded off inch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me go look at that. I guess I didn't even notice that. Let's see here. So if I go.
That 9'1".
Yeah. So let's see. Does it do? Oops. Come on. Oh, why is it not measuring? Let me start over. All right. Where'd my ruler go?
Bring down to, so we can see the whole screen.
Okay. Oh, thank you. So when I go in here, where'd my ruler go? It should just measure from here. It's not click anywhere to draw. Okay. I got to click, not click and hold like we're used to with Chief. So no, it's not doing any fractions, nearest inch. So there you go. So when I was doing this model of this house, you know, it's like, yeah, that's a newer home. I know that it's, you know, 8'1" and 1/8, 8 foot or 9'1" and 1/8. You know, because it's a newer house, it's going to be what those dimensions are. So that's just kind of knowing what you're doing. All right, Rich, let's add you to the stream. Welcome.
How you doing, Dan?
Doing great, man.
So Yeah, well, I found out even more about the Matterport thing, because one of the things I've been using the Matterport since the first of the year. So I'm kind of new to this as well, but it's very easy to learn you could learn how to use this camera in about 1 hour.
Okay.
They got some great tutorials.
Cool.
They got some great tutorials on it and stuff. And I was using it for a lot of insurance losses because of how well it documents and everything. And then I just converted to Sketch. Is just trace over what I had just from the 3D images that were coming up, and I was able to work with it that way. But this taking it, there's another step that I was not aware of yet at the time, because I was asking Matterport, how do we make this as a GWD file? And it turns out there's another software called Autodesk Recap. And that's what takes that file that they send you from Matterport, the object file and the XYZ file. That's what takes it and interprets it into an AutoCAD file.
Okay, but they'll do that for you. You don't have to own that program.
I'm not sure.
In the client I was working with, that they would just get the files. So
we'll do that for you. I don't know what the fee is for having them converted, but there is a software out there that.
Well, based on what we saw on their website, it was either $13 or $15. So it's not much. Rich, we're having it looks like we're still having some technical issues. Your internet's really bogging down here. Why don't you just let's just jump over to that camera real quick, and why don't you just talk about that? So.
All right.
So the camera itself right now, I see. Go ahead.
Yeah, this Matterport camera, this is the one you were talking about price on these.
Yeah.
Right now they are running a special, but there was other things that I had to purchase. The stand, the camera stand, naturally, the lights, LEDs, which are very helpful when you do your scans. It really lights up the room with these.
As I was looking at your samples, you could tell you had the lights on, because when you were moving your camera closer to things, they really lit up nicely. It was really easy to get the detail out of what you were showing.
Especially under stairways, little dark areas, it just really brings it all into focus.
And you were saying that the battery on all that will last all day, about 12 hours?
The 12 hours on the camera itself, the LEDs will last pretty long as well. But before I go out of job, I'm recharging them all the time. So I make sure that they're fully charged before I go out.
Okay.
So
what are that? So the camera's about $3. What are the LEDs lights cost?
These were not much. I'm trying to think, $25, $30 for LEDs.
The tripod.
And the tripod, this that's a good question. Yeah, I bought this the first of the year, so I'm trying to think of what I paid for all this stuff.
Okay, that's right. Well, people can ask.
Everything else, it added up. I got a special.
And then you bought an iPad because you'll be able to, when you're scanning the room, you're actually seeing the scan on your iPad, right?
I am. What it does, you step out of the way of the image, hide around a corner, be in another room. It doesn't matter, because all you do is when you push the button on the iPad for scanning, and I'll just demonstrate what that looks like. I won't have the lights on because I don't want to blind everybody.
Right.
So this is what it looks like when it's operating, and this is how long it takes to do one scan.
So there it's operating now. And it's so when you say one scan, so what you're going to do, like you have about a 1,500 square foot unit there, right?
Yeah, 1,400 actually. But
okay. And I think you told me to get your entire unit onto Matterport, you had to do like 35 scans.
Yes, you're moving the camera, and the thing will tell you if you're in line with the previous scan. So it avoids you from making mistakes, and you're making sure you're getting the scan correctly.
Okay, cool.
So every 8 to 10 feet, you're moving your camera. It could be shorter distance, depends on what you have around. If you have to work around calendars and stuff, the more you can acquire as far as your scans, the more accurate the measurements are going to be.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, the more info you can feed it, the more data it's going to have to create that 3D wireframe and then put it all together. It looked to me like what happens with those scans is it is scanning a room and creating a 3D model, but it's also putting the photographs of each scan on the actual 3D walkthrough. It's really amazing.
It is.
Really...
Once it's once you send it back to Matterport and they knit everything together and send it back to you, you're able to take any video or scan that you get and make a single photo of that, and zoom in on it or whatever you want to do. So you can make several different things that you're able to send out. Okay.
So you've been doing this for a while now. What do you use it for? I mean, what are you out scanning all the time?
Well, I'm focusing on as-built and after usually I'm marketing to remodelers that, I'll do a scan what the project looked like before, and then I'll do some design work. And after the project's done, I'll do another scan of the finished product. And then that in turn is by the contractor who did the work, so he can showcase his work. The other thing is insurance losses, where I go in there and again, it gives you so much detail that you'll never miss an item. And you're able to, I use another software called Xactimate to do the estimating process using the documentation that I get off the scan.
So here we're walking through one of your samples that you have on your website. You can see these little circles on the floor. So that's where you took that scan from, right?
Yeah, that's where I placed the camera.
Okay, that's what that means. And and watching some of the tutorials on the Matterport website, you have a control panel where you're going to have all the scans listed on the side of the screen. You can delete them. You can name them, it looked like, and you can do a lot of different things. You could even name it.
Right. You can tag and name things in the that you want to stand out.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing I liked about the Matterport thing is that you have a lot of things you can do with the software. Kind of like Chief. I mean, there's a ton of CAD programs, but Chief gives you so many things that you can do with the software to make such a big difference. So this is invaluable information. You had some, where were those? Under services, you had a really cool one. And I can see a lot of reasons for using this. So you have this one here where you're actually going through one where it's all torn out already.
Right. And so this was under the as-built category, but you can move from floor to floor and everything. In this case, it was great for the contractors involved because we were able to actually see the condition of all the timbers. Yeah. Especially in the basement area. I mean, but a lot of this was being torn out anyway. But the floor joists, all of them, because this is an old Victorian, maybe 100 and some, I mean, 1800s anyway,
But you can see. You can see how your lights are making such a huge difference. So you can really see the detail.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I remember working on these kinds of rooms back in my remodeling days. It was a lot of work, man.
It is a lot of work. A lot of takeoffs. So a lot of this I was doing with pen and paper before, and with the Matterport. Now that you can go back and check a measurement, you're not going to miss as much. And again, that's same with the Chief taking your laptop, but again, that's a tedious thing to do.
Oh, yeah. There's the soil stack.
Right.
And there's the couch. Couch comes with the project, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And now I'm going to hold this iPad up. I don't know if it'll.
Yeah. Let me bring you up here.
This is
Go ahead.
Just the one. This is the one scan that we took. I don't know if anybody can see this real well.
Yep. Yeah, we can see it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that was just one scan, but you can see how much area it's covering.
Now, can you go into that and look at it inside the scan now, or do you have to send it to Matterport before you can do that?
I do all the scans first and then upload it to Matterport, and then they knit it together to make sure it's accurate. So
as far as the scan goes, that's all you can see without sending it to Matterport.
Yeah, I mean, it'll see a 3D image, but you'll see where the dark areas, is where you've got to have to set your camera to capture those dark areas. So you're not missing areas at all, but you have these. It doesn't work the same way. It probably does. You probably do the layers and stuff, but I haven't done it that way. I always follow protocol in a way, you know, to make sure I get everything accurate. So
Sure.
Let's see. This is I got the bundle package that I paid $45 for. That's what gives you all your object and XYZ files.
And then it's another 15 for the DWG floor plan.
For the CAD files version.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I was seeing on their website. So that's what this was all about right here, schematic floor plans. So that's cool. So you use this in your business. You do insurance. What exactly do you do? Oh, didn't hear me? Are you there yet, Rich? Uh-oh.
Well, I go in there and I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, you just froze up for a second.
Oh, I froze up.
So you do as-built. This is what you do. You do as-built for people, takeoffs. You do insurance stuff too.
Right. And by using the camera again, I document the type of loss. You know, fire, flood, tornado. But it documents the damages really well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
There are cameras that you and Matterport will be coming up with more with the thermal imaging. So not only do you get your 3D scan, you'll be able to see where, you know, heat and cold areas are, and which would help in remodeling.
Okay. All right. So we had a couple questions here. Recap is great. Todd was wondering, and he also was wondering if it's possible to export the scan and combine it in Recap. Again, don't know. That's we're not there yet. He's looking at Matterreel, where you can upload 360 photos and they build a model for $3 to $4 each photo. I'm not familiar with Matterreel, but something to take a look at.
No, but you can do all your own photos. Yep. Yeah,
and you can capture any images from the Matterport scan too. So
yes. The thing is not a laser. It's more of a light sensitive thing. It takes natural light and the camera reads that and bounces things off that way. It's not so much of a laser. Therefore, it's affected by sunlight and stuff.
Okay, yeah. You were telling me yesterday you had to have your doors open in the rooms when you're scanning, so it recognizes there's another room.
Right, you prop the doors so it recognizes another room, and then you put the camera in the doorway itself, and then you go in that room and scan that room. This helps meet the whole process together.
Oops.
When it comes to windows and doors, I'm sorry about that.
There it is. Yeah, I guess we forgot to turn your phone off.
No, that's my regular phone.
Okay.
Landline.
Can you use? So we have a question from Amzi. That can you use any camera, 360 camera with Matterport? That I don't know. It says over here it works with the iPhone, and it has supported 360 cameras, which I don't see a list of those right now. But I'm assuming there are other ones out there that will work just fine with Matterport.
There are 3D cameras that you can use, but Matterport, the Pro 2 is the only one that you can get actual CAD files from.
Okay.
You get 365, you know. So you're moving up the chain. Yeah.
And for what we do in the construction industry, because we want to get these as built, I mean, being able to get this DWG file, so pay the extra $15, you know, bite the bullet, get the better camera, pay the $15. You got a CAD file that you can work with to get you a really good start on your project. Then you go back out there and you can verify things and start, you know, getting any other dimensions you might need that you couldn't get from the Matterport. So, but I could see this saving a ton of time.
Well, it's again, you're saving half the time, and the end results is more accurate than doing it the way I've been doing it in the past. So, a lot more confidence going into any project
Yeah. Yeah. And you've always got the 3D images to back up to.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
go with
And
it.
if you miss a measurement, you go into the inside the camera, walk over there and take a measurement to say, oh, okay, this is
Yeah.
the window size. This was the door size. You can come very close to what's actually there.
So, Rich, tell me a little bit about your business. Who do you do work for? I mean, you doing those for your
Well,
own projects, or do you
yes,
work with other
I
contractors?
work for my. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. I work for myself. I was just kind of doing this part time. I've been in the trades over 50 years, 30 years in the insurance restoration side. I did retire in 06, and then I started doing my remodeling business a couple of, almost right after working for companies like Richard Telt and some of the other ones. But I've built a network of people I work with through NARI, through ALA, and our chief architect, ProAcademy here that I'm in relationships with. So with that information, my wife unfortunately passed away last year, and I was forced to go from part-time into full-time. And so since I'm doing that, I went in both feet and invested in Matterport camera, and invested in the website, and actually shirts. And
now, I know you were wanting to talk with some people in you're in the Milwaukee area about doing scans for them. You were looking for clients in that area. Is that still the case?
Yes, we were going to put it in the ALA program, but because of the COVID, we postponed it to one of our.
Damn internet.
That's why I need the email list of people.
Let's see. How do you find
resources
in other cities? I don't know if Matterport has those, or you just have to start, getting online and start searching.
Well, right. That's what the website's about, because you can put in down the information and what state and everything. And that way I can find out who's working in that area to actually send you the information to that person. So if you see the application or information that I need from the client, that's one of the things I'm able to do.
I did do a search in, here it is, I think. I did do a search in Minneapolis in Minnesota for Matterport services, and I did find a few people that do it. And I was trying to find the site I was on before. I lost it here. Give me 1 second.
Working with Matterport, I'm sure we can get some more and more of those.
Yeah. Well, the client that I was working with, where I first got introduced to this, which was really kind of cool. They're in Colorado, Denver, and there is a service out there that's what they do. They go around and do these scans for you. So they get a scan on every project. She said they pay $200 to $300 per project. And with that, they get the 3D files you can walk through and the DWG files that you can trace on your floor plans. And different projects are going to be different sizes, and of course, you can have different costs in different areas. So I think that goes without saying. I wish I could find that website I was on before. So I would just do Matterport 3D scan or Matterport scanning and name your city. And maybe Donna, you're the one I'm thinking of. Donna says, that's where I am. Can you share that contact info? Donna, I will look that up after this call and let you know. Absolutely. If you could send me an email to dan@chiefexperts.com, that will remind me to do that. And so I think there's probably a lot of people out doing this. And actually, I was thinking about this, and this is like, what a great service to add to your business. If you're a designer, add this scanning service to your business. It looks like a low point of entry, $3, $4, $5 grand, you'd be into it. You start putting the word out. If you did a scan a day for $300, $400, whatever, and takes you a couple hours, then you add the service of, hey, we can also do the chief architect layout of the as-built for you. We can take it to the basics, or we could do the whole thing. I think that's a great service that a lot of contractors would buy. I don't know. What do you guys think? John, you're doing some of that now.
Yeah, I think so. And like I mentioned last week, there's a lot of other applications. You know, one of the obvious ones is just in selling real estate. You know, that's one of the ways they're getting virtual tours on their houses and stuff like that.
A lot of, yeah, you're seeing that a lot, and especially with COVID with out there, because people can't go visit sites as easily and they can't hold open houses. So that's how you're going to tour the houses. Say, Dave, I see you hired a local photographer that has Matterport. What are you paying for that service, Dave? Out of curiosity, if you wouldn't mind sharing that information with us, that'd be awesome. Dave's here in the Twin Cities where I am, and he does a lot of work with Chief Architect. By the way, Dave, nice to hear from you. So we got CRM Home Building in Chicagoland area does it. So, but I would say, yeah, just get on, start searching. I think you'll find lots of people doing this. What a great service. Questions? Anybody got questions? So, Rich, how are you going to charge for your services? Have you thought about that yet? If someone calls you?
I usually charge, it depends on the size again of the project, but if I was to do for instance, a 2 or 3 story house, I charge like $250 for the scan, but then I charge for my hourly of $75 an hour to do it, and it might take me 4 hours to do it. So it really is a very small fee for what they're going to get in return.
Yeah. Yeah, and every project's going to be different too. I mean, the amount of detail in some projects.
If you're just doing a roof.
Dave says 300 to 400 roughly. You're fading out there. Dave says 300 to 400 roughly. And Dave, what do you get for $300 to $400? We got Kevin here. He provides services in Central Missouri, Kansas. Hey, buddy. He's also in the Naples, Fort Myers, Florida. If anyone is interested, it's Kevin at 3d-sq.com. Good, Kevin. Thanks for letting us know about that.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, how long have you been doing the Matterport services out there? Wait for him to type it up. Hurry up. Joy says we use Matterport for before as well as pre-drywall. Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Pre-drywall.
Know where those wires are and all the plumbing and
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, framing's all done right, plumbing's done right, electrical's done right. I know a guy in California that does this too. Gets different scans before the project, during the project, after the project, so that they're covered for any liability things. So I've heard the stories of, the client says, yeah, this is all damaged now. You guys did that. And so they bring up the Matterport scan and like, no, it was like that when we got here. So Kevin, we do our as-built with Matterport. Okay, cool. So awesome. I'm really glad to hear from you guys that are using Matterport. And I don't know if anything we're saying here is helpful for you or not, because you're already using it, but I'm finding this technology fascinating. And this has been something that I think we've all been kind of looking for years. And it sounds like it's just about here. I would love it. It would be even cooler yet if Matterport could give you that 3D model and it had all the dimensions on it already. They need an automatic dimension button like Chief has for doing the outside of the building. Yeah. So they can just put that in your 3D models when you open it up. And it's like, oh, yeah, we wish.
You can do outside. Yeah, you can do outside scans with the Matterport, but you set it for 360 mode, not the 3D mode. But you can still get,
so you can do outside the buildings.
Yes.
Cool.
Use it in 360.
So if you have a tall building, how does that work? Does that work all right?
It'll work all right because you can still, as long as you know a dimension, you can dimension anything that you see it just like a photo ring like that. If you size what you need to size, I mean, you can still do that with the Matterport. Only you got better angles now too. So
okay, yeah, that'd be cool. I did see some on their website. So guys, again, head over to Matterport.com and check it out. They've got a lot of samples, a lot of tutorials. YouTube, search Matterport on YouTube. They have a ton of videos that you can watch. I just wanted to bring this up in our show to just, let people know how it's being used. And it's really doesn't look like it's very complicated to figure out. So I think it could be a really great service. Question about how long does it take to scan a building? Rich, that framing building that we looked at on your website. So the one that was showing.
Right. That took me 4 hours. Yeah.
This so this one here where you went through
and it's 4 hours. It was a basement and 2 floors in the attic, and I still was able to add in 4 hours.
I see. Yeah, you got 4 levels here that you had to go through and do all of the scans. So if we were to zoom in a room, we could kind of see where you place the camera in all these different rooms.
So about an hour per floor,
Yeah. So you just go here, scan, go here, scan, go there, scan. So you're just working your way through the building and doing all these scans, and then Matterport puts them all together and creates this kind of an image for you.
Going upstairs is you can get all the stairs and rises and stuff like that. You set the camera using the tripod, the legs on it, adjusting it, going up 3 steps at a time. You scan 3 steps and scan. You're getting, getting all that information. So
you got to work yourself up a little bit at a time.
Right. And then when you get to another floor, then you say another level. You say level 1, level 2 when you're at the top of the stairs. So then it sorts it out that way.
All right, cool. Brian says he thinks that's what LiDAR will provide. And again, Brian, if you find out any more information on that, I'd love to chat with you, or just send me a note. I'd love to find out more about that. Kevin says it's great for sales as well as inspections and as built. In fact, I've heard of inspection companies now being able to use your Matterport scans instead of them having to go inside the building to do their inspection. They can just look at the scans and approve or ask for changes. Is that you hearing about any of that, Rich?
Yeah. In fact, I was approached by a building inspector that he said the fire department, cost and origin, would be very interested in using the Matterport camera, so they can actually look at a fire scene and maybe sit in a room with several other firefighters and determine, they'll be able to kind of investigate a lot easier and get more people on board or their opinions.
Cool. CRM's Holmes says with iGuide, I can scan the same building in 30 to 40 minutes. What's iGuide? Is that an iPhone app or something? I'd love to hear your thought, what that comment is. Kevin, Point Cloud provided all the CAD points. You can use Revit to import and export to Chief Architect. Very useful on large jobs. Oh, so you can bring it in as a 3D model into Revit. In fact, I did bring in a building into Chief Architect as a 3D model. A guy sent me one. This was months ago. I guess I forgot about that. And it came in fine as a symbol, kind of like a toilet. It's a symbol. You can't do anything with it. You can spin around and look at it. I didn't check to see if no, you wouldn't be able to measure from it in Chief unless you're in an elevation, because Chief can't do 3D measurements at this time. Maybe X13, I don't know, but we can't do it right now. But yeah, I could see where that, if you're into heavy duty projects and you're using Revit or other 3D programs, I could see where that'd be helpful. So Rich, you're heavy into Xactimate. You've been using that for a long time?
Yes. I've been using it since 95.
Oh,
1995.
So you've done a lot of insurance estimating?
Very, very much, yes.
Okay.
And I offer my services to a lot of different restoration companies after my non-compete was over with. I helped build the Paul Davis franchise here in Milwaukee.
Oh, cool. So now you can go out and do it with anybody. CRM, no, it is another camera system that also provides interactive floor plans. It comes with links and DXF files. So that's what iCloud is. Okay. iGuide. Thank you. iCloud. That's we know what iCloud is. Okay. iGuide. We'll have to take a look at that. I'm assuming, there's tons of technology out there. It's really taken hold, isn't it? This 3D technology stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what Leica, are they doing anything?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody using the Leica 3D stuff? Because I
But
know
I
they
heard
had
Leica's already got it. Yeah, I heard Leica's already got the thermal imaging where Matterport doesn't yet.
thermal imaging. Okay.
Yes.
So you can see the hot and cold spots. I remember using a 3D, one of those imaging cameras a few years. Well, God, this is probably 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I had to borrow one to look at a project because we were having some issues with moisture. And God, it was amazing. I put my hand on the wall and walk away and come back a minute later and scan the wall, and you can see my handprints. It was really cool. So those things are pretty sensitive. LiDAR is used for self-driving cars and is an accurate measurement camera like radar. Apple is using it now for AR. Cool. So yeah, so that is where I've heard that term is with Apple, the LiDAR. And yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that coming up.
Well, the more people doing this out there, the better the technology and more competitive. So the prices will start coming down on a lot of this.
I would think so. Yeah, I mean the camera you're right behind you right now will probably it'll probably be $200 in the end of the year. Well, maybe not, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. That is exactly how technology works. So we got Joy says tips for Matterport scanning that we found is that even small rooms still need at least 2 scan locations. Larger rooms 2 to 3 allow for better accuracy. Also reduces need for site visits. It's like any project. It's just take a lot of pictures. And with this system, you will get a lot of pictures because you're getting the whole 3D scan, which is cool. Joy, thanks for that. You guys that are posting the comments, thank you. I appreciate that. And you know, if you have any other things that you want to share about your 3D scanning, you know, journey, let me know. Would love to hear more about that. So yeah, I do want to continue pursuing this topic because this is an area that I don't know, I used to take a drawing board to the site before computers, and I would draw the as-built on the drawing board to scale. And then when I left, I was done. I didn't have to go back to office and try to figure out my notes, which I can't read my own handwriting anyway. So that's how I had to do it. And once computers came of it, once I found Chief Architect, I remember I bought this little Texas Instrument laptop, had a little 9-inch screen on it. It was really a cool screen, and it worked. It was a 286, I believe, with probably an 80 meg hard drive or whatever it was back then. And it was version 2 or 3 of Chief Architect. And I would take that out and I would measure the jobs right on my laptop, right, drawing it in Chief Architect as I was there. And I've done that ever since. I would always take my laptop to a job site and measure the job to my laptop while I was there. It's just the only way to do it. So, you know, even for a single room, just draw it while you're there. You got to do it anyway. Why not do it while you're at the house? Now, technology like this, we'll be able to still do some of that. We won't have to stay at the project as long because we'll have the 3D scan we can look at and measure from, but you're still going to want to get some of that information from the project while you're there. And I think that's an area that we'll dig deeper into on what you need to get. iGuide uses the time of flight LiDAR. It's an onboard computer and allows for advanced measurement. It does produce 360-degree virtual tours. Cool. We'll take a look at that. How's the pricing on the iGuide? Is it spendy? Is it comparable to Matterport? Is it, I don't know, where is the pricing on that? That'd be kind of good to know. But yeah, as-built are one of those areas in construction that I've seen so many people in the past just kind of blow by. They get a quick sketch, get something close, and they call it good. And it's really one of the most important pieces of a plan when you're doing a remodeling project. You've got to have accuracy on those things or you're going to be screwed when it comes to building the project. It'll cost you a lot more money than it would have to draw it right the first time. He says 3,600. Okay. So that's, we're talking comparable to Matterport then for a system. And so again, we'll check more into that. Who knows, maybe we'll do a show on that one day. So Rich, we're about wrapping it up here. You have anything you want to add about what you're doing with your system and how it's working?
Well, again, just marketing it now. The website's just going to go up in about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the meantime, I'm building relationships,
Well,
connections, affiliates.
Your website's already up, Rich.
Yeah.
I did. I posted a link on the page so people can click on it and look at it. So,
all right.
So,
I guess
and then I put your contact information on the shoe. So if you're in the Milwaukee area and you're looking for some cans, and I know you're already super busy, but you got all day, you can do it. Give Rich a call.
Yeah, that's why I work with a number of different architects and designers through the NARI, through ALA and stuff.
Yeah.
So not to turn people away, I just have a group of people that I can just go to. They can let me know their availabilities, so we can. Okay. That's the whole purpose of the website. Same with Chief. If they need remodeling plans, I'd be glad to send the as-built or something to any one of our chief users if they want to work with me on that and work out a deal that way. But I just want to take care of the client.
Yeah, I know you've been using Chief Architect for a long time. We've known each other for quite a number of years. And here's one of the projects that you sent me that from that plan you showed me that was, let's see, where do we go here? From the project you showed me that was all the framing scan. These are the plans that you produced from that project. So this looks really nice. You got all your elevations. Looks like you've added a lot of framing right into the detail. You got your section views. Whose phone is that?
I don't know what that is.
And so, yeah, nice set of plans. You got a nice new layout. So very good. Cool. Schedule, everything you need to get the project done. All right. Anybody else got anything to say? Able to pull 4K photos from any scan. Kevin was saying. Also able to 4K. That's a pretty high res picture. Question LiDAR, does it pick up radiant grid locations?
It's not. LiDAR isn't.
Not a heat sensor?
Yeah, it's not the heat sensing.
Yeah.
Kind of light.
I think that's a whole different technology. I think LiDAR's. Joy, I can't help you with that one, I'm afraid. All right, Rich, you got the last word. What do you want to say?
Well, just I have a lot of faith in the future as far as our technologies and what we're able to do through our network. And I appreciate being part of the Chief Academy. And
cool.
It's been most enjoyable. But again, using the resources I have, no man could do everything himself. So what I don't know, I go to somebody else who does, and that's the whole purposes of this friendship.
Surround yourself with people smarter than you. So, Rich, I really appreciate you coming on. I know we had a few tech issues, but I think we worked through them just fine. And thanks for showing us the camera. It looks pretty straightforward in the whole process that you would do to create those 3D scans. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. And this is Dan and John and Rich signing off from the Designer Show. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.